Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco. Dish out on the movies. Today we are doing a movie review of the movie Ghost with Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze and Tony... Oh, what's his last name? The bad boy.
Tony Ravioli?
Yeah, right. Anyway, it was made in 1990, which is hard to believe. But considering the computers they use and there's no cell phones, I guess that's about right. So I've seen this movie several times. Marco has never seen it.
No, that's a lie. I saw it once as a kid because we watched it together.
Oh, okay.
In the afternoon one day.
Must have been a long time ago.
It was probably in elementary school, and I was eating Whoppers and or Cheetos while I was watching it.
Huh. Well, I say it's a really good movie.
Really?
It's funny. There's
Really?
funny parts. Because Whoopi Goldberg is in it, and she's funny. And the things that... she plays a psychic, and the things that... The interactions she has with Patrick Swayze and... are funny. Or you see her with somebody else, she's funny. So that kind of lightened it up. It's very... it's a romance. There's a murder mystery. And they know who the murderer is.
It has a lot of different genres in it.
Yes, it does.
Which is cool because, like, you know, that's one of the good things about, I guess you could call this movie like a horror movie a little bit, like, is that in horror movies you can fit a lot of different genres together, which you can't do with other movies. Because, like, you know, if in a comedy... someone was all of a sudden murdered, like in this movie, it wouldn't be really a full-on comedy anymore. It would be a horror comedy. So, you know, whereas with a horror movie, you can do any genre inside of horror. Safi?
It's a tragedy, too, because...
Really?
You have three friends. You have Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore... and they're lovers, and then you have Tony Goldwyn, that's the last name of the guy, and he's the bad guy, and he's actually their friends too, and he works with Patrick Swayze. I'm not sure I don't understand what they do, stocks or something in the financial business, and I think Tony Goldwyn has been gambling or something, and he's run up a bunch of gambling debts. So he's going to steal from the company and using Patrick Swayze's passwords to get into this account, and it's to the tune of $4 million. So it's a tragedy because he hires somebody to attack him and steal he has some little cards or something to get to his bank account or to his account at work, and the guy kills him, so he gets murdered. And so it's a tragedy because he's their friend, and they thought he was their friend, but he's in the tune of debt of $4 million. That just all went out the window. And so it's the whole movie is spent with, you have Whoopi Goldberg, and she plays a psychic, and she's trying to help. Well, Patrick could have gone over, to heaven, but he wanted to, his...
No, actually, that went away because they decided that he wasn't ready yet because he had to resolve the issues.
Right. Well, he wanted to resolve the issue too, I believe.
Yeah, but they didn't give him a choice either because it went away. So
right. Well, he didn't know it was his friend. Demi Moore didn't know it was their friend. So it was a while. It took a while. They knew who the killer was, but the killer worked with somebody, and the somebody was their friend. And they don't find that out until, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of the way through. And there's also things to do with Patrick Swayze's a ghost and all the things that ghosts do. Well, it just isn't an easy thing. You don't just move things and say things and do things easily. There takes some kind of, all kinds of different, like a concentration, and also the people you talk to, not everybody can hear you. And he finds somebody just by accident who's pretending, who's a fake psychic, and she's ripping off people right and left. She can't really talk to their loved ones, but they think she can. But when he comes in there and he wants her help, he finds out she can hear him. So that's how Whoopi Goldberg, and she's the comic part of it, I believe.
Okay, let's stop the boring bullshit
Okay,
now
well, so
and do a
anyway,
review of the
it has a
movie.
lot of different components.
Oh, I don't get to do a review, I guess.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh. See, this is why people click off the video. So anyways, this movie, I've seen it before, and this is the second time, and I just think it is a good movie, but I don't think it's a movie that's very rewatchable, because it's kind of like you see it one time, and that's all the times that you really need to see it, unless you're really, really a fan of the actors. Because the story is very simple. And it's so simple that I think the movie goes on a little too long. I think that the pacing is a bit slow, even though like it's not a bad movie. I just think that the movie could have gone by faster with such a simple story like this one. You know, I don't think that it warranted a 2 hour and 10 minute runtime.
Wow.
What?
I just can't believe it was that long. I guess I
Really?
can. It really did go on and on.
Yeah. So you're agreeing with that? Is that part of your review?
So. I think so. But the problem is, Oda Mae, that's who the part. Well, anyway, she has to take time to convince Demi Moore that she can talk to Patrick Swayze.
What's that have to do with your review?
That takes a long time in the movie.
Oh, okay. Well, it takes a long time, but, you know, it didn't need to take 2 hours time. I think the movie could have been like an hour and 40 minutes, maybe even an hour and 50 minutes. You know, just cut out like 20 minutes and have some deleted scenes.
Well, I think that part with where Demi Moore goes to the police station was just a waste of time.
That was a waste of time.
That was a big chunk.
But it was the logical thing to do, since she found out her husband's killer was whatever, Willie Loomis or Willie,
something like that.
Willie Loman, like in Death of a Salesman. And so she wanted to turn him into the police, and they're like, "Oh, we don't care because we don't believe in psychics." And so I think, though, a lot of what this movie could have cut out potentially, I guess I would say the big surprising thing to me is that there's not a sequel. And not that, like, a sequel where it's about Patrick Swayze, obviously, because he's dead now, but, like, this movie spent a lot of time establishing the rules of being a ghost.
Yeah.
Like, they had the thing with, like, the guy teaching him how to move objects and touch things and touch people, and that they had all the different experimentation with him jumping into people's bodies and stuff. And, like, I thought this movie had so much, like, world building that I was really surprised that there weren't, like, 5 sequels where it's just, like, a different story every time or something. Because it sets up, like, a universe here where you could potentially do a number of stories, and you just use the same universe and same rules, and, you know, maybe have Whoopi Goldberg in it once in a while or something. Mm-hmm. So that's what was surprising to me.
Nope, just one movie a long time ago.
Unfortunately, there might be a remake.
What?
Channing Tatum.
Oh God.
thinks that he can make a ghost movie of his own, and obviously he's going to be the Patrick Swayze character.
Oh God.
There has to be a caveat. Channing Tatum says that you cannot make a ghost remake now unless you update it to fix harmful stereotypes or some sort
What?
of bullshit. So, like, I guess because one of the bad guys isn't white, that means that the movie's racist. And I guess because Whoopi Goldberg is over the top, that means the movie's racist.
Oh, she was good.
All of that stuff has to be completely erased if you make a modern version.
I thought he was talking about the technology.
No. They don't care about, like, actually updating things to make things good. Like, whenever you hear people nowadays in Hollywood say that we have to update things, that means that they have to insert agendas into it and turn it into complete trash.
Oh, God. Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and I'm going to be having to take your phone every time now since you can't fucking do it. Turn your fucking phone off. I don't know how fucking hard that is. So Channing Tatum's going to ruin this movie. You know, he'll probably even cast a stupid girlfriend in the movie, or I think it might be his fiance.
Who's that?
It was the token Catwoman from the Batman movie. You know, the Twilight Boy Batman.
Yeah.
You know, that girl.
Oh, okay.
That's his love interest. And so, you know, he can make his own shitty ghost movie.
Oh.
Which would be really shitty because the reason why this movie works is not just because the story is good. It's because you love Patrick Swayze. Because Patrick Swayze is one of a kind. You know, he's... Channing Tatum is like a garbage bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. And, you know, you could see... You know, they showed him training to be a ghost, and he would jump aboard these subways because he's looking for this guy who would teach him, and he would jump off of him, and he was very, you know, he was a dancer, so you could see how graceful he was. So everything he did with jumping and everything, you could see the grace of a dancer, and that's just part of his whole persona anyway. And Channing Tatum, I can't even imagine what that'd be like.
Yeah.
At all. It's kind of sad, really.
It'll be PC. That's what it'll be. Which is weird because this movie, it's probably Whoopi Goldberg's most popular movie, right?
I was gonna say it's probably one of her best. You know, there's also those nun movies that she made. Maybe the first nun movie.
I mean, now she's on the feminazi show The View.
She's older.
She's
shit. About 70.
And she's shit, and
I don't know how that would work.
You know, Ghost is like her most popular movie, her most popular role.
Sister Act, yeah.
She's...
Oh my God, she made 3.
And also she also did The Page Master, which was an okay movie. You know, which Safi doesn't like it.
I saw it once.
She thought it was boring.
I didn't care for it.
Yeah. So
I liked the Sister Act 1. I thought that was good. I don't know about the other two. But
really?
The first one was good.
I think they said they might make a new one.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It might be like a Disney thing, so you know Disney Plus needs to create more shitty content.
Oh God.
To try to get people to sign up to their shitty app that nobody wants.
That's sad.
But yeah, like I would say there's a lot of good things about the movie. I would say that Whoopi Goldberg, just all the main actors are very, very good.
Yes.
Like there's not a single bad actor in this movie. Everyone is perfectly cast. I really like the guy on the subway because he's like a really good character actor. And I kind of wish that he would have been in more of the movie too, because he was a very interesting character. I would say that The only character that I didn't like, I guess, was just because he was the bad guy, because, he was the villain, or I guess both of the villains.
Yeah.
I didn't like them for obvious reasons, but I liked everyone else. Right,
It's just
Safi?
really sad at the end.
Really?
It's sad but good. He goes off to heaven because the deed is done. The two bad guys died. And
Where do you think Patrick Swayze went in real life?
he also went to heaven in real life.
That was
But,
a
when
joke,
I first
Safi.
saw it, it made me cry because I thought, he and Demi Moore loved each other, and their friend, they took his life, and it was due to their friendship with that guy, and it was just really sad because they could have spent their whole life together, and it was gone. But now, I've seen it so many times, I don't,
Yeah.
doesn't have the same effect, but it did when I first saw it.
Yeah, it has it when you first see it, but then even for me, like, this is just the second time I've seen it, it didn't have the same effect. So, that's something to say, and I forgot what else I was going to say. Safi.
Well, you asked me. Well, and Whoopi Goldberg, she has a mixed part, she is a calm woman, but then she finds out she really does have this skill, talking with dead people, and seeing ghosts, or listening to, being able to hear them, whatever, and,
I remember what I was going to say. Now, unfortunately, Demi Moore has been kind of ruined for me, because whenever I see Demi Moore, I think about Charlie Band. And, after reading Charles Band's memoir, Charles Band, A Full Moon features, he fucking would take Demi Moore to his production office and have a secret affair with her.
Really?
And she was like, he put her in like her first movies and everything, and, they were having an affair together. So now whenever I see Demi Moore in anything at all, I just think about how she slept with Charlie Band. A Full Moon features, like, ugh.
Wasn't she married to Bruce Willis?
No.
For a long time? No?
Well, after this, I'm talking about, this was her first movie, and this is when she was very young.
Yeah.
She was just starting out, and so that's what I think of now. I think about Charlie Band. What do you think of that?
No, all I can think of, the other movie that I associate her with is that, is it A Few Good Men?
What?
With,
A Few Good Men?
Yeah, with,
I've never seen that.
Oh, come on. What's his name? Jack Nicholson and Tom Cruise. And that's her, and they're in that military. That's a really good movie.
I thought that movie was
different.
I thought that movie was just Men, because it's called Men. A Few Good Men.
I think that's what it's called.
There's a woman in the movie? Why is that?
She's like a lawyer.
Oh, that's false advertising.
No, it would be. It's not. It has
I'm
something
just
to do
kidding.
with the story.
Okay.
Storyline.
Oh, okay.
But it
I've
has
never
to do
seen
with
it,
the
so
military, but
it's just not. It is on television all the time, though.
they're in the They're all in the military. All three of them.
Well,
And,
I would rather join the military than watch Channing Tatum's version of Ghost.
God.
And I would say my favorite part of the movie is the part where Patrick Swayze takes her to the bank to close the account
Yeah.
with all the money in it.
And she's wearing that outfit, that pink outfit.
And
hat.
And she has to get that check and basically get rid of it and just completely get rid of the money and everything. And that was my favorite part of the movie, because I really liked them working together, and I thought it was very funny and clever, and it was just highly entertaining.
That was just another another time too where it was kind of a little bit of comedic action, like after they go to the bank, and then he wants her to give give away the money and to endorse the check. And she said, well, if I endorse the checks and somebody takes it, they'll get the money. He said, I know it's not your money, it's blood money. I was killed for it. And there's these two nuns out on the walkway, and they're collecting money to build some kind of homeless shelter, I think. And so she gives the nun, but she won't part with the check. She has trouble handing it over, and it's funny. And Patrick Swayze's standing there. Of course, they don't see him, and she doesn't see him, but she can hear him because he's standing right next to her. And it's just, that part's really funny. And it's just, it's just a little light moment amongst all this drama and murder and
in terms
romance.
Of, this week is Ghost Movie Week. And in terms of a ghost movie, how do you think the movie fares? Because I think this movie, for some reason, when I watched it now, all I could think of was that, like, this movie has franchise potential. Like, that's all I could see. Because, like, I just thought they set up a universe here. I don't know necessarily if it's the best ghost movie ever, because I think that it's a very simple story. It's very concentrated on just who killed him, and then how do I protect Demi Moore and let her know that I'm here. Also, I think I've seen better ghost movies.
I don't know.
What do you think, Safi? I mean, in terms of it being a ghost movie, the whole theme of the week. I mean, you're obsessed with the movie. I mean,
it isn't that
you
it's
talk
a
about
ghost
it all
movie.
the time.
It's called Ghost, but the thing is, I think of it in terms of going to heaven and going to hell, because and more of that kind of thing. Like life and death and being in hell and heaven, and the ghost thing is kind of like almost, even though they have this big training thing with the guy on the subway teaching him all these things, they show him going to heaven in the end, which I already said, but also the two bad guys, their friend who betrayed them, and that bad guy who was like the, what would you call, the gunman, or the super bad guy. They showed the hell coming for them. And it's these black figures, but they're kind of like, I don't know, they're one-dimensional.
Maybe that was the racist part that Channing Tatum was talking about. Like, maybe
they come out of the ground and
maybe
then they grab them and they make this sound.
Maybe it's because it implies that only black people go to hell.
But it's not. I don't think so. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I don't know, but
I'm just kidding. But like, it's just, I don't know. I'm trying to.
It's frightening anyway, because these
I
come
agree.
out of the ground and they make this weird wailing noise, and it just doesn't start out real loud. It kind of builds up into this loud noise.
Well, the part where Channing Tatum first died too, he went through like a series of visions and things where there was like some creepy body that was in the bed with him or something, and I thought, I would have liked to have seen more of this.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't?
The creepy guy in bed?
The body thing, like he wakes up in bed and he thinks he's next to Demi Moore, and it's some sort of a creepy body of someone or a creature or something, and
That's right.
I think it would have been cool to see more of that kind of stuff, because, you had ghosts in this movie. What about demons?
I think it was the emergency room, and the cops brought him there, and they were trying to revive him. And
it would have been cool if he saw demons and stuff like that.
But no, he doesn't. He sees other people who have just died in the hospital, like him. Older people maybe, and.
You think he saw the ghost of Natalie Wood?
I don't know. And they were there, and they want to know, well, what's wrong with you? And then I guess, remember, there was an older gentleman, and he was kind of telling him a few things, but mainly he just was such in shock. He didn't know. He couldn't believe it, and they just didn't know what happened. And it was, that's why I say it's a big mystery. There's so many components to this movie. That's one thing I think was special about it. And I mean, it's just not Ghost. It's all the other things too that make it into like a stew or something.
I think that it needed more horror elements to mix in, because it kind of feels like 85% of the movie is like just the real world story, and only like 15% of it is like supernatural stuff. You know?
Yeah, I think you're right.
So that's what I think. I think it should have been more like 60-40 or something, because, you know, I mean, it's so funny how Patrick Swayze is killed at the beginning of the movie.
I know.
And then yet he's the main character of the movie. Because the movie would not have worked without him. You know,
No.
you couldn't have had a version with this movie where you never got to see or hear Patrick Swayze and it was just Demi Moore and Whoopi Goldberg. No, that movie would have been complete trash. The only way this movie would have worked is to have the guy who gets killed be in the whole movie, which is just kind of funny to me.
And he did an excellent job.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, that may be the best. Of course, there's also that, movie about the young girl gets music or dancing lessons with them. I can't think of that right
Oh,
now.
Toxic Avenger.
Oh, really, Marco?
Oh, I don't know. Dirty Dancing?
Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
And
No, Point Break.
there's that too. But I mean, he really did, these movies that we're talking about, he really did a very outstanding job.
I haven't seen Roadhouse, which of course they just remade that, and ooh,
Oh, God.
not watching that. I don't know. I think that it's too bad that I still remember when he died, because it was really hilarious with Safi, because we were in Kroger and we were about to check out, and then Safi looked at her phone and she's like, "Oh no!" She's like, "Patrick Swayze died!" That's what she said.
Whatever.
It was really hilarious. She was like, "Oh no!" What?
Shh, don't be so loud. Well, I don't remember that.
It was
Sorry.
really funny.
Well, I think I was in shock because I didn't know he was that bad off.
I didn't even know he was alive still.
Yeah, and then you hear what happened after, and it's even worse.
What? What
I
happened?
guess his wife abused him
Oh.
when he was dying, and I don't know. That's what I've heard. I don't know all the story. Didn't really pay that much attention, but it just sounds terrible. So
That would be a good movie to make.
I guess
A movie about his life.
Yeah,
Of course, who would play him?
I have no idea.
What
I'm sure
about
they could find somebody.
what about Adam Sandler?
Adam Sandler isn't a dancer. You'd have to get somebody who's a dancer.
Well,
He's very graceful.
Who can dance anymore besides dancers?
A lot of dancers.
Yeah. That's the problem. Because nowadays, I don't know, I just don't think that anyone would ever match up to him. Because,
He was very one of a kind.
yeah.
Very one of a kind. Very unique.
He's like a, he's like, what are those what's the really good candy bar? I don't know. Like, he just feels like a vintage candy bar that got discontinued, and you're like, oh, I really wish that candy bar would come back.
Well, it's just weird because all of his co-stars outlived him.
Really?
Yeah. Well, think about it. That Jennifer, whatever his co-star,
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
in Dirty Dancing, and then in Demi Moore.
Keanu Reeves is dead.
Demi Moore. They've outlived him, and it's just weird.
Why?
It's just weird to me.
That's what happens.
He died a long time ago, right? I mean,
That's what happens.
Back. Okay, so
did you look up the guy from the Addams Family, Uncle Fester?
What about him? He's not in this movie.
No, but that would be another case where we won't talk about that on the, because I've already talked about it on the channel before. But let's just say he survived a very awkward situation of outliving everybody around him.
Really? He did live a long time.
Well,
Jackie Coogan.
He was really best friends with because he was in the Tom Sawyer with this other guy who played Tom Sawyer, and I think he was Huckleberry or something, and he was on a vacation with, I think it might have been his family and him and his other family and that guy's family.
Yeah.
And then all of them died in a car crash except
Oh my God.
except for him. He was the only survivor.
Really?
And so he outlived everyone.
Wow. I don't know anything about that.
And you see, you can make a lot of really good movies in this universe. That's what I think. I think they should have made sequels. Like, I don't usually say that, but they should have made sequels.
Well, since it was made in 1990, and they were on the brink, I would say, between having all these computers that, you could, with the cell phones and all that, they were getting there, getting close to that, but it was just, they still had the telephones and the push-button telephones and the dial ones, and you just didn't have all this information, and I don't know. It's just completely different. Putting that in a movie, that'd be interesting to see. I mean, that's one thing. Even in this financial business that Patrick Swayze and his friend were involved in, which I'm just not sure what it was supposed to be. They were using those old-fashioned computer monitors that had the green writing, the green screens, real small screens, and gross. Those things are awful. So it's just you were talking about modernizing it, or whatever the word you use.
No, I told you that's not what he meant.
It refers to something else, but when I hear that, I think about the technology, because it would have been, and let's say you have a cell phone and then you get attacked and your partner's there and he's bleeding to death. Well, you get on your cell phone and make a call. She was yelling help and all this. I mean, it would change the movie, just those things alone.
Yeah.
If they decided to do it in that framework, they would have to change things, but I don't think they could. Especially if they're talking about if what Marco says is true, that they would change those other things, insert agendas and all that crap. I don't know what.
Well, it's queer because what was wrong in the movie? Like
anything was wrong.
What was the quote unquote problematic thing? Like, there was literally nothing problematic in the movie. All of it is something that you could see in New York happening.
I was going to say, you go to any big city.
There's
parts of the city? There's a Chinese neighborhood. There's an Irish neighborhood.
Are there such a things as Puerto Rican criminals in New York?
Oh, sure. There's a Puerto Rican community.
Oh no, they don't exist because only white people are the criminals. That's what we have to do to modernize the story. We can't show any other race of people as criminals except for white people.
Actually, I don't know if that guy was supposed to. I guess he was supposed to be Puerto Rican, but what he looks like?
What?
He looks like one of those Aussie Aborigines. That's what he reminded me of.
That's weird.
Like from Crocodile Dundee.
I don't like Crocodile.
Well, I know that, but
Dundee.
that had Aborigines in it. And anyway, so yes, they have. I mean, that's West Side Story.
Yeah, it says Puerto Ricans they exist, so, like, why wouldn't some of them be criminals, naturally?
Well, there's immigrant neighborhoods. I
Like-
mean, that's always been that way. Even when they had, the turn of the century and all that immigration from Europe, Ireland, and Germany, and all those different places. I mean, come on, give me a break. So.
Well, what else should we talk about with the movie?
I don't know what else there'd be to talk about.
Because I want to get to 46 minutes of quote unquote tedium and fatuousness, or whatever that faggoty ass pretentious fuck said. I want to get to 46 minutes.
Let's not and say we did.
Why?
Let's just give our food
Just because we haven't had our dessert yet?
Well, it's late.
Well, and
we've talked about the movie. I don't know. What else can we say?
I don't know. I mean, I would say that, I wasn't allowed to see the sex scene as a kid, but now that I've actually seen it, it wasn't
really anything.
It wasn't really graphic at all.
No, it's nothing.
I was under the assumption it was some heavily explicit and graphic scene. So it was very strange that I wasn't allowed to see that. I mean,
I don't remember that either.
I don't even think, like, I think you see her boobs for, like, 1 second or something, and, like...
I don't know. I don't remember that.
Or maybe you don't, and it's like, that scene was like a PG-13. So I was kind of confused by that. That was kind of strange.
I have no idea. I don't remember that, and that doesn't make sense to me.
I had to go out of the room... Well,
I bet Robert sent you out of the room.
No, it was you. It was only me and you who were watching
Marco,
it.
I don't know why I would have done that.
We were watching it. It was after school. It was in the afternoon. I was having my snack.
Okay.
We got the movie from Hollywood Video. We got it from the library.
Oh, yeah.
In Xenia. Well, what would you rate this movie in terms of food?
Well, I think I'd give it, some Chinese food, like maybe some chicken chow mein or lo mein chicken with vegetables, and then maybe a different kind, like Happy Family or something, and rice and like some egg rolls, like a whole big meal, because there's different components, and that's what this movie was. It was just there were, like Marco said, it consisted of a lot of different genres. It just wasn't one thing, and I think that's good. I think that's what made it good too, because it made it interesting, and it may have gone on too long. Like, I don't think the cop, I don't know, I guess it was, but I don't know, the cop thing went on long, and then they had to make faces and be disrespectful, and I didn't care for that, and I didn't think it was necessary. And then maybe all the training he got to be a ghost.
That was necessary.
Well, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what you could cut. Like maybe the thing in the restaurant when she's meeting Oda Mae, the psychic, because he knows she's in danger. And that's why he wants the psychic to help him, because he wants to protect her.
Well, I'll say that I thought that maybe the last part could have been cut down, because the last part where it just becomes like action of like chasing and fighting and stuff like that, I think that could have been cut down and just made to be more intense, because it kind of went on a little bit. It was kind of loud. It was kind of like we get it. He's gotten the bad guy. Like, it wasn't really that intense or suspenseful, because, you knew that, the bad guy's not going to win, obviously.
Right.
You
don't know they're going to get killed.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have, I actually, and it's funny because, Patrick Swayze, he'd been betrayed by his friend, and that other bad guy who he didn't know from Adam, he still, you could tell he felt so terrible that those creatures from the dead, from the hell came coming up out of the ground, and they were wailing, and you could tell he was horrified by it, that he didn't want anything like that to happen. He still, even though he was upset that his friends betrayed him, he didn't want that to happen. He didn't like it. He was such a good person.
Yeah.
So there are just so many pieces to this. I think it's a really good movie. It's one of the best, I think. If you want to talk about a movie that's about a ghost in the 1990s, I don't know what other movie there would be. I guess we'll see.
Let's look that up.
We're going.
Casper, Spirited Beginning.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about an adult movie, not a children's movie.
You didn't say that. That's
Oh, are you talking about with
moving the goalpost?
Well,
let's see. 1990s ghost movies. Let's see if the Blair Witch Project.
That was okay.
It's really good.
Misery, I wouldn't call that a ghost movie.
I don't know why they put that there.
I have no idea either.
It is not as good as this movie.
Yeah, but it's
Candyman's not as good as this movie.
No idea. I've never seen that. If I have. I don't remember that at all.
What ghost is in Silence of the Lambs?
I don't know.
There is no ghost in that movie. Okay, well this is inaccurate. But yeah, I guess maybe this movie might be the best ghost movie of the 90s, because I'm not seeing many movies that even qualify. It just seems like they're listing 1990s horror movies here.
Yeah.
So, what about what I get? What I give the movie?
I would like to hear what you give it.
Well, I'm going to give the movie what I ate when I was a child watching the movie, which would be Whoppers, because I think that Whoppers are good. I think that they're a little overrated and underrated at the same time. And they're overrated because Safi obsesses with them like she obsesses over the movie Ghost, so much that we even had to review it. And I just think that Whoppers are kind of like something where I'm hardly ever in the mood for a Whopper. Like, I'm hardly ever in the mood to have like a handful of Whoppers. I'd rather have Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Reese's Pieces. Safi.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hershey's, Kit Kat, Oreos. I'd rather have any of those things rather than have a Whopper. But I would still say that Whoppers are very good. Another thing, though, which aligns with this movie, is that Whoppers are very simple. And this movie's also very simple. So, the Whopper.
Okay.
Not the Burger King Whopper. That's a piece of shit.
No,
we're talking about the candy Whopper.
Right. So anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and become one of our subscribers. We welcome you to the channel. So goodbye.
Bye.